Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel Top Coin. Today we have something truly fascinating for all of you coin lovers and treasure hunters. We are diving deep into the story of the 1986 Canada 5-cent coin. This tiny nickel with a beaver design has been in circulation for decades, but you might be shocked to learn that some of these coins are worth way more than face value. Yes, a coin that most people overlook in their spare change can actually be worth real money to collectors. In this video, we will explore its rich history, unique design features, minting details, varieties and errors to watch for, and of course the current market value, including how much collectors are willing to pay today. So stay tuned until the very end because you will not want to miss the rare details that can turn an ordinary coin into an extraordinary find. To understand the 1986 5-cent coin, we need to go back a bit. The Canadian nickel as we know it today was introduced in 1922. Prior to that, the 5-cent coin was made of silver and much smaller in size. In 1922, Canada switched to nickel as the primary metal and adopted the larger size that is still familiar today. The iconic beaver design, created by artist G. E. Kruger Gray, was introduced in 1937 and has remained ever since. The beaver sitting on a rock surrounded by water is a symbol of Canada's natural wildlife and its fur trade history. By 1986, the 5-cent coin had been minted for decades using nickel and some copper. The obverse of the coin features the familiar portrait of Queen Elizabeth II designed by Arnold Machen, which was used from 1965 to 1989. This portrait shows the Queen wearing a tiara and is one of the most recognized portraits on Canadian coins. Now let's look closely at the 1986 nickel. The coin weighs 3.95 grams and has a diameter of 21.2 millimeters. It is made primarily of nickel with a small amount of other metals. On the reverse side you have the famous beaver design with the denomination 5 cents above and the word Canada along with the year 1986 below. The designer initials kilogram can be seen near the beaver. During 1986, these coins were struck by the Royal Canadian Mint in huge numbers. Over 84 million business strike nickels were minted that year, which makes it a common date. But here's the catch: not all coins are created equal. Some coins struck with extraordinary sharpness and preserved in mint state condition are worth a lot more than face value. This is where things get exciting. While the regular 1986 nickel is common, certain errors and high-grade coins can command high premiums. Collectors look for coins with double dies, off-center strikes, die cracks, or planchet errors. A double die, for example, might show doubling on the date or lettering, making it very attractive to error collectors. Another key factor is the coin's grade. Coins that were pulled from circulation early and kept in pristine uncirculated condition, sometimes graded MS65 or higher by third-party grading companies like PCGS or NGC, are highly desirable. It is not unusual for an MS65 or MS66 1986 nickel to sell for many times its face value. Proof-like and specimen strikes from mint sets are also sought after by collectors. These have a special finish with mirror-like fields and frosted devices. So what is the 1986 5-cent coin worth today? The value depends on condition and rarity. A regular circulated 1986 nickel might only be worth its face value of 5 cents in Canada. But if you have a high-grade uncirculated example, it can be worth $1 to $5 or more depending on the grade. Proof-like examples from mint sets often sell for $2 to $10 depending on their condition. Now here's the part that really excites collectors. Some of the highest graded 1986 nickels have sold at auctions for over $50 or more. And rare error examples have been known to fetch hundreds depending on the type of error and demand among collectors. So the next time you find an old nickel from 1986, check its condition carefully. Look for any unusual features or errors. You never know when you might have a treasure sitting in your change jar. The market for Canadian coins has been growing steadily in recent years. Collectors all over the world appreciate Canadian coinage for its artistry and history. The 1986 nickel, while not as rare as some other dates, has a steady demand, especially in high grades. As more people learn about coin collecting, the competition for top-grade coins increases, which pushes values higher. Coin shows, online auctions and platforms like eBay or specialized coin dealers often list these coins. Prices can fluctuate based on market trends and collector demand. It is always smart to check the latest auction results and price guides for the most current value. If you think you have a valuable 1986 nickel, take the time to examine it closely. Use a magnifying glass to check for doubling or other errors. Look for sharp details and luster which indicate a higher grade. Avoid cleaning the coin as that can reduce its value dramatically. If you believe your coin is special, consider getting it graded by a professional service like PCGS or ICCS, which is popular in Canada. A certified grade can increase buyer confidence and fetch a higher price. When selling, you can use online platforms, coin shows, or dealers. Always compare offers to make sure you get the best price. So there you have it, the incredible story of the 1986 Canada 5-cent coin. From its history and design to the hidden rarities that could be worth a lot more than face value, this little nickel has a lot to offer collectors. Remember that condition and errors make all the difference. Keep an eye on your change and your old coin collections. You never know when you might discover a hidden gem. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more deep dives into rare coins and currency. Turn on the notification bell so you never miss an upload. And let us know in the comments if you have ever found a valuable Canadian nickel or any interesting coin stories. Your story might inspire other collectors. Thank you for watching, and as always, happy collecting. Today we're diving deep into a small but mighty piece of Canadian history that could be hiding in your pocket change or sitting unnoticed in an old jar of coins. We're talking about the Canadian 5-cent coin from the year 2000. At first glance, it might just seem like an ordinary nickel. But what if I told you that some of these coins can be worth way more than just 5 cents? What if that little piece of metal could be worth dollars, or even hundreds, depending on its condition and variety? Stay tuned, because we're going to explore its fascinating history, the design, key features, how to identify valuable varieties, and of course, the current market value and collector demand in 2025. Let's start with a bit of history. The Canadian 5-cent coin has an interesting legacy. The very first Canadian nickels date back to the late 1800s, when they were made of sterling silver and much smaller than what we know today. By the 1920s, nickel became the primary metal for this denomination. Fast forward to the year 2000. Canada was celebrating the turn of the millennium. The Royal Canadian Mint had already issued numerous special coins during the 1999 to 2000 period, including commemorative quarters, but the 5-cent piece continued to feature its classic design, which has remained relatively unchanged for decades. The obverse of the coin features the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Dora de Pedre Hunt. This portrait was introduced in 1990 and used on Canadian coins until 2003. On the reverse side, we see the iconic image of a beaver sitting on a rock, designed by G. E. Kruger Gray back in 1937. The beaver has become one of Canada's most recognized numismatic symbols. The date 2000 appears below the beaver, and above it reads the word Canada. The composition of the 2000 Canadian 5-cent coin is nickel-plated steel. These coins were struck for circulation in large numbers, but what makes certain coins valuable are factors like minting errors, special varieties, and pristine conditions. Now you might be wondering, how can a coin minted in the year 2000 be worth more than face value? There are several reasons. First, condition is everything in numismatics. A 5-cent 2000 coin in average circulated condition might just be worth its face value. But if you find one in uncirculated or mint state condition with no scratches, bright luster, and sharp details, collectors are willing to pay more. Second, error coins and die varieties are where the real excitement begins. Some Canadian 5-cent coins from the 2000 era have been reported with interesting mint errors such as off-center strikes, double dies, and planchette issues. These types of errors are much rarer and therefore command significant premiums in the marketplace. A simple nickel with an unusual error could easily fetch tens or even hundreds of dollars depending on rarity and demand. Professional grading can make a huge difference in determining value. Coins graded by agencies like PCGS or ICCS with high mint state grades such as MS65 or above can be significantly more valuable than ungraded pieces. Collectors are always looking for top quality coins with clean surfaces and strong strikes. Another factor is collector demand for complete year sets. Many collectors like to build date runs of Canadian nickels, and they need a 2000 example in pristine shape to complete their albums. That keeps even relatively common coins desirable when they are in exceptional condition. So, What's the market like today for the Canadian 5-cent 2000 coin? As of 2025, circulated examples are typically worth face value unless they have a notable error. However, uncirculated or mint condition examples can be worth anywhere from $1 to $5, and sometimes higher if they have superb eye appeal. If you have a certified MS65 or MS66 example, you might see values reaching $10 to $20 or more among collectors who want only the best for their sets. Rare error coins can go for even more. There are recorded auction sales where unusual 2000 Canadian nickels with striking errors fetched over $100. These are outliers, but they demonstrate the potential value hiding in everyday change. The overall market for Canadian coins has been stable, with increased interest from collectors worldwide. Canada's reputation for beautiful coinage and the popularity of coin collecting as a hobby have helped keep demand steady. While you may not retire on a single nickel, finding a rare variety or a high-grade example can definitely put some extra cash in your pocket and add excitement to your collecting journey. If you want to hunt for valuable 2000 Canadian 5-cent coins, here are a few tips. First, always check your pocket change and coin jars at home. Second, visit local coin shops, flea markets, and estate sales. Third, invest in a good magnifying glass or jeweller's loupe so you can carefully examine coins for errors or varieties. And finally, consider learning about coin grading so you can better assess the quality of the coins you find. So there you have it, the full story of the Canadian 5-cent 2000 nickel. It may look small and ordinary, but under the right conditions, it can be worth much more than its face value. Whether you're a casual coin hunter or a serious collector, this coin has a fascinating place in Canadian numismatic history and offers opportunities for discovery and profit. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of coins and want more videos about valuable coins you might have in your collection or pocket change, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. And tell us in the comments below, have you ever found a valuable Canadian 5-cent coin? Maybe even one from the year 2000? We'd love to hear your stories. Thanks for watching, and remember, treasure is everywhere if you know what to look for. Keep hunting, keep learning, and who knows what valuable history you'll uncover next. Today, we are diving deep into the fascinating world of Canadian currency, and we're putting the spotlight on a coin that often gets overlooked but can hold surprising value, the 2001 Canadian 5-cent coin. At first glance, it might seem like just another nickel rattling around in your pocket, but stick around because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly why this coin could be worth far more than its face value, what makes it special, and how you can determine its true market value today. Let's begin with a bit of history. The Canadian 5-cent coin, also known as the nickel, has been around since the 19th century, but the design we know today has its own unique story. The 2001 Canadian nickel features the classic beaver design created by G.E. Kruger Gray, which has been used since 1937. On the obverse side of the coin, you'll find the effigy of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Dora de Pedra Hunt. This particular portrait of the Queen was introduced in 1990 and was used for more than a decade, giving the coin its familiar and iconic look. Now, the 2001 nickel is made of multiply-plated steel with a composition of 94.5% steel, 3.5% copper, and 2% nickel plating. It weighs about 3.95 grams and has a diameter of 21.2 millimeters. While these specs may sound standard, the real excitement for collectors comes from errors, varieties, and the condition of the coin itself. So why are some 2001 Canadian 5-cent coins worth far more than 5 cents? The answer lies in rarity and demand. While millions of these coins were minted for circulation, certain factors can dramatically increase their value. For example, coins struck with errors such as double dies, off-center strikes, or misaligned dies can fetch a premium on the collector's market. There have been reports of some 2001 nickels with unusual striking issues that make them highly sought after. Another major factor is condition. If you have a 2001 nickel in uncirculated or mint state condition, with no scratches or wear, its value can skyrocket compared to a well-worn example. Another important aspect to consider is proof-like or specimen sets issued by the Royal Canadian Mint. The 2001 5-cent coin from these sets often has a higher quality strike with a beautiful mirrored finish, making it more desirable for collectors. These coins can be worth several dollars each, sometimes even more, depending on their grading. Now, let's talk numbers. What is the current market value of the 2001 Canadian nickel? For circulated coins in average condition, their value remains close to face value, but high-grade uncirculated examples can sell anywhere from $1 to $5 depending on the quality. Specimen or proof-like examples can go higher, with some fetching up to $10 or even $15 if graded by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC, and if they achieve top grades such as MS66 or MS67. Rare error coins can go for significantly more, sometimes reaching into the hundreds depending on the type of error and the demand among collectors. One example that has caught collectors' attention is the rare off-metal error strikes, where the coin may have been accidentally struck on a different planchet. While these are incredibly rare, if you come across one, it could be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars at auction. That's why it's always important to inspect your coins closely and, when in doubt, have them checked by a reputable coin dealer or grading service. The demand for Canadian coins has been increasing steadily, especially in North America and among collectors worldwide. With the rise of online marketplaces such as eBay and specialized coin auction sites, even a small, overlooked coin like the 2001 Canadian nickel has found its place among valuable collectibles. It's not uncommon to see rare examples selling for much more than expected when two or more passionate collectors compete to add it to their collection. But the true magic of coin collecting is not only in the monetary value but also in the history each coin carries. Think about it, your 2001 Canadian nickel has traveled through time for over 2 decades, passing through countless hands, witnessing economic shifts, and holding stories untold. The beaver design itself represents Canada's rich natural history and fur trade heritage, symbolizing hard work and resilience. So, if you have a jar full of Canadian nickels lying around, take the time to check each one. Look for any 2001 dated nickels in pristine condition or with unusual features. Even if you don't find a rare error coin, you'll gain a greater appreciation for Canadian numismatics, and who knows, you might just discover a little treasure hiding in plain sight. Before we wrap up, let's quickly summarize the key points. The 2001 Canadian 5-cent coin is common in circulation but can be worth more depending on its condition, strike quality, and whether it has any minting errors. Uncirculated examples and proof-like specimens can fetch a nice premium, and rare error coins can be worth hundreds. Always check your coins carefully and consider professional grading if you believe you have a high-grade or rare variety. Coin collecting is not just about money, it's about passion, history, and the thrill of discovery. So next time you get a handful of change, don't ignore those nickels. One of them might just surprise you. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video and want more content about rare coins, their history, and how to spot valuable pieces in your change, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. Share this video with fellow collectors or anyone curious about coin collecting. Drop a comment below if you've ever found a rare Canadian coin or if you have any questions about the 2001 nickel. We'd love to hear your stories. Until next time, keep hunting, keep learning, and remember, every coin has a story. Today we have an exciting topic that could make you look at your small coins in a completely new way. We're diving deep into the fascinating world of the Canadian 5-cent coin, specifically the 2005 edition. You might think a nickel is just worth 5 cents, but some of these coins have surprising stories and can be worth a lot more to collectors. So stay with me until the end because we'll explore the history, unique features, key details that increase value, and the current market prices collectors are paying right now. Who knows, you might have a valuable coin sitting right in your coin jar. Let's start with the history behind the Canadian 5-cent coin. The 5-cent piece has been part of Canadian currency since the 19th century. Originally, Canada issued small silver 5-cent coins, often called half-dimes, until 1922 when nickel was introduced as the primary metal. That's why the coin is commonly called a nickel today. The design of the beaver on the reverse has been a Canadian icon since 1937, created by artist G. E. Kruger Gray. It represents Canadian wildlife and the importance of the fur trade in the country's early economy. Now, fast forward to 2005. What makes this year stand out? In 2005, the Royal Canadian Mint produced millions of these coins for circulation, but there are interesting details about mintage and condition that make certain examples far more valuable than others. The obverse of the coin features the classic effigy of Queen Elizabeth II designed by Susanna Blunt. This portrait has been used on Canadian coins since 2003 and continues today. The reverse features the iconic beaver on a rock with the inscription Canada, the year 2005, and the face value of 5 cents. The composition is primarily steel with a multiply nickel finish, and some coins also have a small mint mark letter P indicating plated steel, but here's where things get interesting. While most 2005 Canadian nickels are common, some varieties and conditions make them desirable. Proof and specimen sets, for example, feature mirror-like finishes and higher quality strikes, making them collectible. Coins that have errors or unique die varieties can also fetch a premium. These errors can include things like double dies, off-center strikes, or die cracks. If you ever spot an unusual detail on your coin, it's worth having it checked by a professional. So how do you know if your 2005 nickel is valuable? Condition is everything in coin collecting. Coins are graded on a scale from circulated to uncirculated to mint state, and higher grades mean higher value. A regular 2005 nickel pulled from circulation might only be worth face value or a little more, but a mint state coin with no scratches, bright luster, and sharp details can be worth several dollars or more to collectors. Proof coins from Royal Canadian Mint sets can also sell for higher amounts. Keep in mind that error coins or rare varieties can sell for much more. Some collectors are willing to pay significant premiums for unique pieces, sometimes $10, $20, or even more depending on rarity and demand. The key is condition, rarity, and what the current market is looking for. Now let's talk numbers because that's what most of you are curious about. As of today, regular circulated 2005 Canadian nickels are worth 5 cents in everyday use, but uncirculated examples in mint state can be worth between $1 and $5 to the right buyer. Proof and specimen versions from mint sets can sell in the range of a few dollars up to $10 depending on grade and presentation. If you have an error coin or something unique, prices can jump significantly. Some rare examples have been listed at even higher prices on collector marketplaces and auction sites. Collectors are always on the hunt for pristine coins. The Canadian nickel series has a strong collector base, especially among those who focus on modern varieties. So even though millions were made, not all coins survive in top condition. If you have a coin sealed from a mint roll or set, you might be surprised at its potential. If you think you have a valuable coin, take time to examine it carefully. Use a magnifying glass, check for unusual features, and compare with online resources. Coin shops and reputable grading companies can help verify authenticity and condition. Avoid cleaning your coin because cleaning can drastically reduce value. Collectors prefer original surfaces even if there's some natural toning when selling. You can explore local coin shops, coin shows, or online platforms like eBay where collectors actively search for these coins. Always research sold listings, not just asking prices, to see what coins are actually selling for. The Canadian 5-cent coin might seem ordinary, but every coin has a story. The 2005 nickel carries decades of tradition with its beaver design and Queen Elizabeth portrait, and while most are common, some can be worth much more than their face value. It's a perfect example of why it's worth looking closely at your change. Do you have any interesting Canadian nickels in your collection? Maybe you found an error coin or a rare variety. Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this deep dive into coin history and values, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more videos about hidden treasures in everyday money. Turn on notifications so you never miss our next episode where we reveal even more coins that could be worth a fortune. Thank you for watching, and remember, every coin has a story, and sometimes that story is worth more than you think.